What Peter Parker does today may have horrible, threatening ripple effects that could destroy the future of 2099. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 33 and find out. So, picking up from where the last issue left off, everyone's favorite Hispanic Irishman, Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man 2099, was pulled back into the modern era. He knows that something really bad has happened in his timeline and that the only person who can help him out is Peter Parker, the modern-day Spider-Man. Of course, he's come down with a bad case of plot-convenient amnesia, so he's not exactly sure what those things are just yet. Personally, I'm just happy that Nick Spencer remembered that Roxxon Industries also makes use of these weird berserker creatures that were invented during the events of Jason Aaron's Thor. Now back over with Spider-Man, he was attempting to break up an Infinity Formula deal held between the Chameleon and Super Assassin the Foreigner, only to discover that the Foreigner was working for Silver Sable. But wait, no, it's even more complicated than that. You see, Teresa, Peter's sister, opens fire on Silver Sable, and we discover that it was actually a life model decoy controlled by the real Silver Sable, who is actually quite banged up. In fact, she's close to death's door, and that is because, and get ready for this because we're about to substantially retcon a retcon here. So remember during that 2012 Dan Slott Spider-Man story, Ends of the Earth, when it looked like Silver Sable had actually been killed by the Rhino despite the fact that she showed up later and she was A-okay? Well, turns out she was actually way more messed up than she let on and would have died if the Foreigner didn't dig her out of the ocean. The two fell in love, and the Foreigner built her a life model decoy so she could continue on with her regular everyday business. This was necessary because Silver Sable's rival, the Countess, had taken over her nation and turned them to making weapons for Norman Osborn. Spider-Man had actually thought he and the now revealed to be life model decoy had put an end to this whole weapons build-up, but turns out they didn't. Now Latveria is getting all ticked off about one of its rival nations building arms, and because of that whole area is on the brink of war right now. Silver Sable wanted the Infinity Formula so she could make herself healthy and strong again so she could actually save her nation and avert the war. Spider-Man ultimately thinks that's a pretty reasonable explanation. His sister Teresa, though, does not. Keep in mind, this was stolen Infinity Formula from S.H.I.E.L.D. that the Chameleon was trying to offload after killing one of her friends. And the moral and ethical debate over what to do in this situation ultimately drives a wedge between brother and sister, one that they're going to have to repair. But perhaps the real salt on the wound in this situation is that the Chameleon managed to escape once again. But moreover than that, we eventually discover Dimitri is actually pulling the strings between Silver Sable and the Countess, selling weapons and gear to both sides of this conflict. Why, to prolong the war, he's even hired the Hitman, another truly forgotten Spider-Man deep cut who was a boss in that old Punisher side-scroller, if you remember, to go out and use another advanced S.H.I.E.L.D. weapon to assassinate a dignitary who's coming into New York for a UN meeting. But more on that in a minute. Spider-Man is forced to run back to school where he discovers, oh hey, it's your turn to present with your partner. You don't remember that, but it's that Jamie kid, the person who we found out in the last issue was actually a big fan of Peter and the webware. He had said that he had upgraded and perfected the webware model to create a kind of superpowered early warning system. Here though, we understand what that actually means, and it's crazier than you could ever imagine. He basically built a Rick and Morty device out of it. Jamie's device, nicknamed the Clairvoyant, scans all manner of multiple universes similar to ours, crunches the data, and finds what might very well statistically be an outcome of any given situation. So, a Minority Report future-telling machine is what he created, and no doubt this will be important later, what with the whole 2099 stuff. Now what about that mystery politician coming to the UN? We see that tensions are high, what with Latveria and Silver Sable's nation, and there's going to be peace talks at the UN today. This whole meeting was of course set up by the Chameleon in disguise, all part of a much bigger plan to draw Dr. Doom out of hiding so the Hitman can well put a hit on him. And it's on that tense note right there the comic comes to a close, and so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 33, everybody, and I gotta say, this issue does what the previous issue didn't manage to do, and that is actually get me invested in what's going on here. I can appreciate that the real threat and the real drama isn't what might happen in this potential future that they're trying to stop, but also really what's happening here and now. The Chameleon has actually managed to mastermind a pretty cool plan, one that plays to his strengths as an infiltrator and a face changer, and one that we know full well are going to have much, much bigger implications in the future. Heck, I'm actually kind of interested too in the idea of Peter and Teresa having moral differences and how they're going to work through that problem as a family. Overall, I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. Kinda cool. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.